Welcome to the Creative Brew, helping you keep your creative juices brewing. We're giving out chunks of insight, motivation, and practicality for your creative journey. If you're a creator, athlete, or entrepreneur, luck can only get you so far. Having the right skill sets are critical in your success. All Skill No Luck makes handcrafted, custom-designed flannel wear, made in the United States and based here right in Oceanside, California. They pride themselves on quality, creativity, and attitude. The perfect brand for the Creative Brew. Use promo code CreativeBrew10 and get 10% off and free shipping within the United States. You can check them out at allskillnoluck.com. My next partner is Elevate Coffee Trading, and if you appreciate specialty coffee, enjoy outdoor adventure, and love helping elevate the lives of children around the world, then you're going to love Elevate Coffee Trading. Their mission is to extract hope through love, coffee, and adventures. There's free shipping in the United States, and every bag of coffee helps sponsor health and education for children in coffee-producing countries and in areas of need in the United States. You can use promo code Elevate21 on your next order, and you can follow their journey on social media at Elevate Coffee Trading. Or you can visit online at elevatecoffeetrading.com, and let's start extracting hope together. And this episode is brought to you by Baba Coffee, smuggling good vibes. Baba roasts their coffee beans each week and only offers the freshest coffee. They have espressos, lattes, cappuccinos, pour over, or drip coffee. You can try their cold brew coffee, nitro cold brew, or bulletproof coffee, and boba milk teas. They also have a wide assortment of delicious food. I would suggest you try the avocado toast, mimosas, wine, or beer. On the weekends, you can check out some great music like the Soto Six and food like Eliza the Shelf and others over the weekend, every Friday and Saturday, beginning at 6 p.m. You can check out everything they got going on Facebook and Instagram at Baba Coffee, or go to babacoffee.com. And we're back with a new episode. First of all, I want to thank you. Thank you for everyone that has sent me messages, that has listened to the podcast, watched the podcast, shared it out, supported it in any form or fashion. Thank you to my membership patrons that has that's supported the show. Thank you for my sponsors, Baba Coffee, All Skill No Luck, Elevate Coffee. You're the ones that really help keep the show going. So truly appreciative. Thank you for everyone that has talked about the podcast or just shared with me how it's helping them out. Like I said, I think with this podcast and with the show, I want to be able to highlight creators, entrepreneurs, musicians, thought leaders, everyone that's creating something, that's building something, sharing their insights, sharing their stories, and really trying to figure out how we can all rise together. And I think that's the point of it. And I know that everyone has their own journeys, their own specific journeys, their backgrounds, perspectives. And I think that's what makes the world a beautiful place. It's not everyone having the same perspective or the same opinions or the same thoughts. It's being able to brew all these things around, brewing all the different insights and perspectives and backgrounds, and really, mixing something that I think people, love to hear or love to watch. Yeah, I mean, like I said, just thank you for everyone that's, just been there since day one, and that is starting to jump onto the show. It's one of those where we're just gonna keep it going, and see how long, we can go. I really don't know how long I intend on creating the show, but I'll keep going. So, I do want to, say that I am very, very gracious and thank you for everyone that all over, really, when I check it, all over the world. So it's sort of amazing that, being able to share that voice from my hometown back in Cleveland, Tennessee, all the way to even to my second home in Oceanside, California, and then just even all over the world. I mean, I've starting to hear people from, people are starting to catch on from different countries. So it's always cool. But today, I want to share. Well, before I share the share the topic, um, I want to give a quick shout out, comic book shout out. I've been starting to get back on my indie sort of creator vibe here, and just showing my support for different artists, different creators, different people doing their own thing. I know for me personally, it's very inspiring because I am trying to work on my book, um, and to see everybody sort of putting out their own thing, it's really refreshing, and it helps me, you know, keep going and trying to stay consistent, and keep that momentum going with my own things. But I want to give a quick shout out to Jason R. Moore. He was actually he played in the Punisher series on Netflix, um, but he just came out with a graphic novel. It's sort of a spy, sort of gritty um, spy piece called a Prayer for the Hunted. So you get a chance, check it out. It is available at Oceanside Comic Books, Oceanside Comic Book Stronghold, and it's available online too as well. But you can follow him at Jason R. Moore, um, and like I said, you'll be able to get this book. Like I said, I'll be checking it out, reading it. This is a signed copy, so this is pretty cool. So thank you, Jason. Like I said, we got to meet up over the weekend, so it was great, and he'll be on the podcast here soon. It was great. Really, it's always cool connecting with different creators, and yeah, and like I said, I just want to create this platform for other people, and them sharing their story and how they got to where they are. It's always interesting. But today, I am going to talk about line by line, and this is a for me. This goes back to, I'll say it's almost around this time. It's always sort of, I get those same vibes where my uncle, it was his birthday not too long ago, and he had passed away. It's been some years now, but yeah, I always around this time I'm always sort of thinking about him, and just all the things. And not to say he wasn't the perfect person by any stretch, but it was just one of those where I've always had that relationship with him, even when I was little, and then seeing his kids grow up, and I always sort of feel like I need to watch over him at times, because of the things that he's done for me. But yeah, I consider him between him and my mom. Definitely rest in peace for my mom and Lionel. Um, I always consider them my first art teachers. There is no way I would be where I'm at now from a skill level wise. And obviously there's other people too that I want to, that help me along the way. But from an initial foundation, there's no way I would be where I'm at right now, if it wasn't for obviously for my mom, but for my uncle Lionel. And this is actually a story, and I've told this before, but I don't know. I think the more you experience things, or maybe the little lessons in life, it can be from your family members, or just some of your loved ones. Um, the more that you go through your course of your course in life, and you really get introspective with things, and you start thinking back as far as like some of the little things that was actually pretty big, when you really think about it. So this episode is called Line by Line, and it actually goes back to a story I've told before, and really talking about my first foray into art. I was tracing, and my uncle, he a magnificent artist. I wish I still had some of his old paintings and drawings, and he did wood carvings. I mean, it was amazing, and I was always amazed anytime I went over to his house. I always wanted to draw something, or I was just in awe of what he was doing. But I started sort of jumping into like, okay, I want to be an artist too. And back then I was and actually still now, I am a huge 80s cartoon fan. I loved He-Man, and so the one of the first books I had was it was the old it's like an old He-Man book, and I was tracing one of the characters, and I'm feeling like, okay, I'm an artist. I'm sitting there tracing, and got the picture done, sent it back to my uncle, and he went back, and automatically you know, and the more you get trained in this, really quick, like if you trace it or not. And he knew right off the bat. He's like, no, you trace the image, and the thing that he told me, and I still um, remember this to this day, and I think it's been ingrained in my brain, and just something that's really, I think, applicable to life. He's like, don't don't look at the entire at the entire image right now. Don't do that. What I want you to do is focus on just one line. That's it. Don't look at the entire image. Don't look at the entire picture. Sometimes it can be complex, can be complicated. Just work on that one line. And back then, that's what I did. That I sit there and like, okay. So I went back and crumpled up my little tracing that I had, and I started over. And I went. I drew the one of the arms on the character, and I really didn't draw the arm. I just drew one line, and that was it. And I just kept working on it. I drew one line after another line after another line, and just sort of looked and try to compare what I was doing against to the image, to the picture I was drawing. And you know and sooner or later, I started to get good at it. I started to, the more repetitions that I put in it, the easier it got. And then, it wasn't until later where I actually started understanding anatomy and muscles and structure and bone structures and things like that. But just the simple act of him telling me to not look at the at the larger picture, but just focus on one line. I think now, with all the things going on, and even with even with stuff that goes on in my daily life, you know, the best thing we can do sometimes is just focus on one little thing. Control what you can control. Sometimes it can be daunting to look at the entire picture, the entire framework of someone's life, and all the things that go into it, all the good and bad things that happen. Sometimes we just have to focus on one little thing and just go from there. So even with, for my fellow artists, sometimes we get so, feeling like overwhelmed whenever, we're working on some big piece, or, we're getting ready for some kind of exhibition or anything like that. Sometimes we just have to focus on the painting, just focus on the one thing that you can work on today, and then keep going from there. What's amazing, the more that you focus on just that one little line, the easier everything gets. You could sit there and create something. Even the things I was doing, I mean, just going back, I mean, I remember just drawing it and like how easy it got. And then I started going to more complex images. I drew it line for line. I went to more complex things, and for me, it got easier. Um, Not to say there were some images that that was a little tough for me, because I was still working on my skills. But from being able to just break it down into pieces and understand, let me just work on this one little section and then build it up from there. I think that's something that we can relate to anything that's going on in our lives right now. And it was sort of amazing because it was one of those, he I think he's told me, and at the same time too, I mean, like I said, he was really big in my life. I mean, he was my wrestling coach too, um, and helped me out in that aspect too as well. But it was just one of those where that I think that was one of the most important things that I believe he's ever told me. Come to think of it, I mean, I spent years with him, and just with all the things that obviously that he experienced, and just how he was. That was literally the most important thing that he told me was, don't worry about the big picture. Just work on that one line. Just go line by line and then see what happens. Sometimes we want to, just go right to the to the big picture, and we don't understand all the little steps it took to get to that. And I mean, I think that's for everyone that's doing their own thing, that's creating something, that's trying to build a life that they enjoy. Is sometimes we just need to sort of go back and just work on that one thing, and then just go forward. Just keep working on one. Just control one thing. Sometimes we sort of go fast forward and feel like, hey, we want to get right here. We want to be 20 years in the future. This is what we want right now. Sometimes we have to understand the steps. We have to look back and understand the steps in order to really get to where we want to. So it's always sort of cool, going back and now obviously, he helped me out tremendously with my art, and it's always sort of cool because I'll have a lot of people, just amazed, even when I create these coffee cups or if I'm doing like digital illustrations or designs. I'm gonna tell you now, it was all because of that one thing that he told me when I think I was about seven, probably about 6 or 7 years old. Now I've been drawing. Now I've been, with some of my earlier illustrations back in kindergarten. It was, just a stick figure and stuff like that. But I really got serious probably when I was about 7 years old. When I was actually drawing actual figures. Um, that was, I think that was the crux point. That was the spider in the Spider Verse. That was my one of my canon events right there. Was him saying that to me and understanding that I don't have to look at the big picture. I don't even have to focus on the big picture. Sometimes all I need to focus on is what is one little thing that's going to help me go to the next line, to the next line, to the next line. Then at the end of it, we look back and we see the big picture. Sometimes we just want to go and see, okay, what's the big picture now? Like I want to see it right now. No, we got to understand the steps in the process in order to get to that. And at the same time, be in gratitude for those steps, for the processes needed to get to that larger picture, to that masterpiece of your life. So I think that's what I got today. It's always cool. Sort of, every time it comes around, it's always something that I think he constantly, I feel like he's still teaching me something, which is pretty cool. He's been going for some years, but um, there's a lot of things that, you know, he is still teaching me, and that was one of them. Was understanding that sometimes we don't have to look at the big picture. Sometimes the only thing we can do is focus on what we can control, and just work on one line, work on one thing today, and then go forward. That is it. We'll get to our destination sooner or later. But right now, could we focus and be intentional on just working on that one little thing? Sometimes we just get focused on the big picture. We want the big thing now, and we're not in gratitude of just working on that one little line that's going to get us into our own personal masterpiece. So that's what I got today. Speaking of wrestling, hey, if you want a wrestling mug, I am. I have got a lot of these up on my online shop, and I've been sending it out to a few coaches. So hopefully, they'll get to drink some coffee in them, check them out, share them out, and it's just one of those where I'm always, like I said, people that do know me, people that listen to the show, I constantly refer back to wrestling and sports. That's been a foundation of my life, and then just something that um, that's been a part of who I am. And when I use that platform to be able to create my own business and create things for geared around sports and athletics. So it's been cool that I've been able to really still be in it after all these years. But I've got these wrestling cups. I'm starting to do some more coffee mugs. Really getting into that. I think with the whole aesthetic of the show, I find myself promoting more coffee shops or creating more of the around the coffee culture. So who knows? I think that's where we're at right now, and it's always in flux. And Me personally, I'm not gonna know the big picture until you know maybe 20 or 30 years from now. But the only thing I can do, and then the only thing you can do, is just work on that one line. Just go line by line. You'll have your masterpiece. You'll have your own personal masterpiece, but it's going to take just let's just go for it. Let's just go for it with one line. But that's what I got. Thank you. Like I said, different ways of checking out the show. You can check it out on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, SoundCloud. Video portion of this is going to be up on YouTube, on my YouTube page. So if you want to support the show, you can support the show at www.buymeacoffee.com/the Creative Brew. And for the price of a cup of coffee, you can support this show as well as future episodes. So, also too, special shout out to Elevate Coffee Trading, which I am drinking on right now. And quick shout out to them too as well. You can find them on Instagram at Elevate Coffee Trading, or go to elevatecoffeetrading.com to share, to check out their story and what they're doing to help extract hope with every drop of coffee. So other than that, hey, be creative, stay inspired.
If your ups and downs, all the wins and the outs and the smiles and frowns, they will tell you, settle down, stay on the ground. But no, I won't take it. No, we won't take it.